Hi guys, I'm Karina.
And I'm Eric.
And welcome back to the L.A.T.E podcast. The law according to Eric. So this week, Eric actually just found out what the topic was because he wanted to be surprised.
Right. I want this to be as authentic as possible. So I have no idea what we're going to be discussing today. I'm sure I'll find out soon.
So I was given topics, and I tried to stay on the topics I was given, but it's kind of hard when Reddit kind of leans its own way. Okay. So today's whole theme will be of people who either went on dates and ended up finding out they were criminals, or like the actual criminal themselves speaking up.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, all right. So I have no joke today, just because I really didn't.
Because that's right. But well, that's okay. Honestly, I forgot also. So we can skip the joke.
Okay, all right.
Before we start, though, I'll tell you, I went to the bank the other day. You ever like run into like an old friend or whatever? I actually ran into my old football coach. You have any idea how old this guy is now? I mean, I'm in my 50s.
How old is he? Yeah,
he's got to be like.
Well, yeah, because he's like you said he was like old school even when he was like older when he first you.
He had to be like 90 something, and it was weird. I was like, Coach, what are you doing here at the bank? He's like, I was just trying to get my quarterback.
Oh my God, that didn't have a joke.
I win.
By default, I didn't have.
Oh no, by everything.
Sure. All right.
You know what the bottom line is? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just a cerebral assassin. That's all. Again,
no, you just won't ever admit that you lose.
Do you want to know a true story? I'm not. This is not a dad. This is a real story. Okay. So again, one day I promise I'll dedicate like 15 or 20 minutes. Well, you may need more than that, but to like the educational journey I took in life to get to like going to law school and all that.
Right.
One of the colleges that I went to for a time. Mm-hmm. was a technical college. Like I was going to earn a certificate,
right.
like in Microsoft networking. And back then it was called an MCSE. It was a Microsoft certified systems engineer. To be like a tech guy. And so at this school, right, we had like this one teacher in a class I really wasn't interested in. It was like some telecom, I don't know. And I basically, for our final, right, like I was completely unprepared. I convinced, maybe when I realized I really should go to law school, I convinced him to let us work in groups, right? By saying like, if we were in the real world, right, and we had this kind of assignment, we had to be like a phone panel or whatever, it wouldn't be just one guy, right? It'd be a team.
Right.
The teacher kind of like thought about it and like, you know what? That makes sense. And from that day, and I'm not joking, and this is like my nickname, all like my online like fake poker accounts, whatever, was they call me, I'm the thinker. Like that was my skill. I was just a thinker. Because God knows I'm not a hands-on guy. God knows I can't repair like the most basic stuff. But I was the thinker. Yeah. So
that's all you need sometimes.
That's it. So that was my
You have one guy who can assemble and one guy who can think. That's all you need.
That's it.
All right. So let's start with the first one. The first one is very small, very short. Just wanted to throw it out there. So this was titled "Who Did I Meet?" And this was from the Ask Reddit.
Who indeed?
Reddit. I went on a date with a woman who I met in an emergency room waiting area.
Whoa. Like,
I know, it starts better.
I mean, we're going to call a foul on the very first line. How the fuck do you have the audacity to like get someone's digits in like an ER waiting room?
It gets worse. It's a very short story, but I had to throw in there because it's really, it just keeps going.
All right. Okay. Wow.
While having dinner, she told me she was married, but not to worry because her husband was a missing person.
Husband was a missing
but don't worry, she's going on dates. Her husband's missing, but like don't worry about it.
Okay.
He's missing anyway, so it doesn't matter. Weeks later, his body was recovered, and shortly thereafter she was arrested. She attempted to use me as an alibi. And actually had buried her husband's body the day she went on a date with me. I was questioned by detectives, but her husband's time of death didn't correspond with our one and only date.
Okay, we're coming out. I guess we're going out swinging.
All of these are like this.
I mean, okay. There's really not much like as far as what would Eric do or legal advice other than like legally,
Stop dating people you find an emergency.
Right. Okay. That's the common sense prolific advice. Like I know that we're in a different day and age from when I was young and single. Like back in I should say art in my day, really. You would meet women or men if that's how you got down. You would go to like social events, like you go to a bar or club or someplace close to campus if you were like in college. or a blind date, like someone would set you up with someone, right? And I know things are different now, like with technology, and it's all about dating, swiping and digital footprints and all that. But I never in a million years thought that there would be like, you know, fresh meat at the fucking ER, like, you know, ripe for the picking. I wonder if that was the fucking day she buried her husband. I wonder what she was in the ER for.
No, the day she buried her husband was the day they went on a date.
Right.
That's why she dated him.
But
they didn't go on a date the same day.
No, I understand. But I'm saying, like, I wonder what she was in the ER for that night.
I don't know.
Like, maybe I wonder if she had, like, killed him. I was going to say, like, maybe she chopped him up and she was trying to, like, you know, also
have another alibi.
Weird. Yeah. All this is just, wow. Okay. I honestly, I question a little bit of the validity of some of these. I mean, that's a pretty extreme.
I know.
You know, but who makes that up in an ER?
Exactly. Like, who does that? Like,
I mean, that's like beyond creative, you know? It's like, okay, I when I was in college, right? I mean, for the 12th time or whatever, like, you know, we had this one English teacher that insisted, for whatever reason, that we develop. I guess maybe she was trying to teach style. So she really enforced the idea that we all had to have kind of like our own opening lines or our gimmicks, and that's how she knew it was us. And so I don't know why I thought of it, but I just used the phrase, it all started one day while giving blood, right? I don't know, whatever. Right. And she, for whatever reason, she thought that was so fucking clever. And I don't even know why I thought of that. Okay. Right. I probably think deep down, because back in the day when I was a starving student, we used to do that. We used to give blood for like $10. Mm-hmm. So maybe it just popped into my head.
Gave blood for a donut. So
there you go.
$10.
Yeah. But like all of a sudden it's like, Eric, you have to, every creative writing assignment, you have to start that way. I'm like, all right. And then the bitch gave me a C anyway. Right? I know. Well, but by the way, for me, that was pretty stellar back in the day. But just saying. But anyway. All right. Sorry. Go on.
All right. So next one. Ready for the next one?
I don't know. Okay.
Title is, My Day Ended Up Being a Convicted Murderer. This is off the subreddit Creepy Encounters.
Okay.
Back when I was 18, working at a fancy hotel, the maintenance man, 25, was a handsome, hardworking, and funny guy. Over time, we created friendships, and I found myself comfortable around his presence. After a few months, he asked me out on a date. We ended up going for dinner and then for some drinks. I asked him what his last name was, and he replied with White. I thought nothing of it and then moved on. The next day at work, I noticed that his name tag actually revealed his last name was Morrison. I never questioned this to him, but immediately found this to be very strange. When I got home, I told my mom, who immediately saw a red flag. A few hours later, she comes into my room with panic, saying that the very man I went on a date with had beat someone to death when he was 17. He bullied and chased the younger victim to a dead end where he acted out a prolonged and vicious attack that was so severe that the victim had to have a closed coffin. My mom is an avid investigator when it comes to these things, like me. We never went out again, but I did have to see him at work, which made it very awkward. I still don't know how to proceed after finding these things out.
There's a lot there.
It's a lot.
Yes. Okay. Let me just say, I know that this is meant to be funny, and I mean weird and funny, and this is a very
morbid. That's the word.
It is morbid, and it's an off-brand topic for us in a sense, right? But here's the thing, and this is probably going to get me a lot of hate and feedback, negative feedback, but I don't know how long this guy did, right? Like time-wise.
Well,
right?
It couldn't be that long because that's.
Well, I don't know if he's
20 years from then to now.
So,
it's been 8 years.
So he's 25 now?
Yeah.
Okay. So things that 17-year-olds do are not often well thought out. They can get carried away in the moment. The way things are reported often can be sensationalized. Now, I'm not trying to defend anything. Right. Obviously I wasn't there. I was not his criminal defense attorney. I don't know what happened. I don't know if this was, a random act of violence. I don't know if this was targeted.
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
I'll tell you a true story, and this is very, very well known within the entertainment world and has been verified on multiple accounts. But like one of America's sweethearts, or at least was at the time, Marky Mark, has a very serious prior conviction of violence. He beat a man, and the guy lost his eye.
Right.
And he was also a teenager in Boston, So, and look at him today, right? So it's not that people can't turn their lives around. And there are some feel-good stories of people that, started off down the wrong path, but rehabilitated and sort of like found a way to.
I have one of those for the end.
Okay, well, that's good. So yeah, you found the way to redemption. Now, having said all that, I'm going to put my dad's shoes on.
Right.
And if this were my kid,
right,
and one of my daughters was going out with, this would end now, and I would change her fucking phone number.
Literally.
And block this guy from everything. I mean, you just can't, because who knows what set the fucking guy off?
Yeah.
What if he beat the shit out of some poor girl because she's like, look, I'm not blowing you in this alley. And then all of a sudden
he stopped? That's my thing, because sometimes you don't even know people have stopped you. They just haven't been caught.
Right. That's a good point, too. I mean,
he could change. There have been, like you said, change. But it's like at the same time, what if he never stopped? Well, yeah.
What if anger management courses didn't do it for this guy? Yeah. I don't know. That's really, it's got to be crazy and frightening to learn that somebody that you went on a date with, and be worse if this was like a Tinder hookup, and like you come home, you're like all like.
I think it might be worse that she sees him every day at work, though.
Yeah, I know.
Tinder, you never have to see them again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe the thing for her to do, if it's like this is what Eric do, is maybe just say nice, like, look, I think we had a nice time, but we work together. It's not really appropriate. I need this job. I don't want to get in trouble. Let's just be friends, and and then act like she has no fucking idea who he is, what he did.
Exactly.
And of course,
slowly just
because you don't want to set this guy off
don't
either.
Set him off. So don't just be like, you know what? I know what you did.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to do with you. Don't do that. Maybe just kind of like slowly just, step away from this friendship that you've built.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. All right. Next one. Title is, I think the guy I started dating might be a criminal. And this is from relationship advice. So I met this guy on holiday 5 months ago, and we really hit it off. He's from Mexico and I'm from Canada. We talk all the time, and I have been to his house in Mexico many, many times. And we have really enjoyed getting to know each other. But there seems to be a problem. I had a feeling he's lying about what he does for a living. He told me he's a self-employed businessman, which I believe, but I think he really might be involved in criminal business. Here's why I think so. He owns many gas stations in Mexico and had mentioned something about the gas theft in Mexico. He has multiple phones, tons of U.S. cash, and all his family members do not use their shared last name and have no pictures of him. They own private jets, and sometimes the pilots even drop off cash to him. He does a lot of business with the Chinese and has accounts in China. I've also found handguns in his bedroom. He's paid for his new SUV in all cash, and he usually asks me to book hotels, dinners, all of that under my name. And when I ask him about these things, he just says, don't worry, hun, Mexico's very different from Canada. And that the only reason he has guns is because he likes to hunt and collect unique handguns. I know in Mexico there's a lot of corruption, just like in other countries, but I am definitely thinking something is up with this guy. But he never uses drugs. He wouldn't even touch them. He's an incredible guy, very humorous, gentle, humble, and kind to the people around him. He is very romantic and listens to every word I have to say like it's the last one I say.
Oh my God, this chick is so stupid.
He supports me in everything and even offered to help me start my own beauty business up.
Oh, honey, that's another way to launder his cash.
He hired a band to produce a song he wrote about me. He has tea light candles shaped in hearts in the room, 40 dozen roses, all of that, the whole 9 yards. I have even met his secretary, who was really nice, and his personal assistant. They all seem like lovely people.
Yeah, those are bodyguards.
I once discreetly told them about my concerns, and they just laughed it off and said, honey, you have nothing to worry about. His family's also very nice and sweet. We have traveled to France and Spain and all the other countries together. I just don't know if I'm right, if I'm being ignorant, or if something is really up. What would you do here? This is a cartel member.
Cartel for sure. Yeah.
This is a cartel member.
Yeah. I mean, look, gas station. We talked about this on our money laundering episode. Gas stations, bakeries, car washes, cash businesses. The gas stations are not so much anymore. They were back in the day, right? But very, very few businesses are really cash businesses anymore. Which also may make sense why he diversifies out so much with different things.
Also in Mexico, I think it's a lot more like just cash.
Yeah,
I want to say, yeah.
So let me address a few of the points she makes, and then I'll get to what I think is a final conclusion here.
Okay.
So, first of all, it is not uncommon for people in foreign countries to collect or hold on to or hoard U.S. currency.
Right.
I can tell you I've been to the Middle East 13, 14 times in my life. There is still, even today, a black market for U.S. dollars.
Yes.
They'll exchange them a little bit higher than the banks will or licensed currency exchange places.
Some people do that for a living, too.
Absolutely. And, you make a half a point here and there, but you do enough volume, it makes a big difference. So that's in and of itself not a huge thing. Pilots bringing cash? Yeah, I don't understand what that's really about unless they're flying like fucking helicopters to every gas station pickup. Sounds like those are stash house pickups to me.
Definitely.
To be honest.
Yes.
Yeah. But the bigger issues, believe it or not, are not the guns, cash, buying your SUV. People do that. I knew a guy, this is a true story. I knew a guy in high school whose dad really was kind of one of those like old school, like had a gun safe, had cash in the house in a safe, believed that one day the banks were going to like explode and we'd be right. And he bought, I remember like he picked us up from school one afternoon because I was going back to his house for whatever. And he was like in this brand new minivan. He was like so excited. He's like paid it all in cash. Like he saved it. So there are people that do stuff like that. Sometimes people think you get a better price. By the way, it's not really true, but I know people think that.
I know.
The pilots bringing around cash, again, that's pretty sus. But the simple things like no reservations in his name.
He has a different last name than us.
Right. You're right. He goes by a different name. The whole idea of having her like handle all this stuff, having this really tightly knit group, not really knowing for certain.
Just a businessman.
Yeah, most likely. And by the way, if we're talking private jets and all that kind of stuff, he's probably not like a grunt in one of the cartels or organizations, like in Sinaloa. He's probably like pretty well up there, you know, like the equivalent of a mafia captain, you know?
Definitely. It sounds like it. It definitely sounds like it just because of how like, you know, his family doesn't like mention it. His family just kind of just puts it aside. And honestly, I mean, you could really have a nice life if you continue this. All you have to do is deny. At the end of the day,
that's what I would say too.
That's what El Chapo's wife did. She denied knowing anything about him.
That's it. And let me and listen, Elsa from Frozen, you know, the fucking Canadian, get what you can, bring it up to Canada. Exactly. You'll have a little stash up there. So just in case things go south and you see him on the news one afternoon, right? You're not just out of this with nothing. Or talk to him directly about it. Say, you know, listen, you know, whatever, you know, Chapo, whatever his real name is. I'm trying to think of the other guy, the Medellin cartel guy. I can't remember his name now.
Pablo Escobar?
Escobar, yeah. If I were her, I'd be like, yo, Pablo, look. You don't have to tell me, right, exactly word for word, but Mama didn't raise no dumb Canadian.
I need to know.
Right. Yeah. So I'll tell you what.
How much I deny, how much
And why don't you have one of those pilots throw up a few duffel bags my way?
Exactly.
Let me kind of hold them for you for a while. And then after a certain period of time, they just become mine. Exactly. Right. And just figure that's the way that I just
That's usually what the cartel wives do. They just,
that's it. And this is how you can be certain that I stay ignorant.
Exactly.
Right. That's what I would be doing.
So, but all right.
All right. Good. Interesting one.
All right. This one was an experience. So her title was, went to a guy's place last night and I thought I was going to get murdered. This was from the subreddit dating. I met this guy once before and there was no real red flags. He invited me over, so I agreed. He lived in a relatively nice part of town in like the rich condos. As I'm walking through the hallway, I'm like, oh my fucking God, this looks like the last place I'm ever going to be seen alive. I get in his apartment and he doesn't even turn on any of the lights and says, my roommates sleep on the couch. He had told me earlier his roommate wasn't there. We get to his room and it's disgusting to say the least. There's dishes with old food in them everywhere, moldy beer bottles, old fast food, etc. I'm surprised it didn't have a smell. On top of all of that, there were clothes everywhere. His bathroom was attached to his room. I took a glance in there and almost vomited. The toilet was so dirty, it looked like it hadn't been cleaned since 1976.
Ooh.
His sheets were clean. His sheets, however, were clean, but he had like girl pillows, like throw pillows on there. On the floor was a pink woman's sock, so I'm like, okay, a woman has been in here before. He starts counting money, lights up a joint, and then he offers to just lay in bed and listen to music. So I'm like, okay, I didn't want to be rude, and I'm like, yeah, like I guess I'll stay a bit. I didn't want to just say I'm leaving. An hour later, he gets up, snorts a line of coke. He then told me he's on probation for an OVI and takes some more pills. Got back in bed and starts cuddling and kissing me. I was so turned off at this point. He could barely keep his eye open. I was worried he was going to OD or something. He gets up, snorts 5 more lines of coke, and says, oh, sorry, did you want some? No, what the fuck? He proceeds to tell me he doesn't have a problem and hands me a stack of hundreds and asks me to count them. I'm like, no, I don't want to touch that. He was just acting really weird and awkwardly aggressive. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get murdered here. At this point, I'm looking for an escape route. So I tell him it's super late and I think I'm going to go home. He tries to stop me many times, tries to grab my arm and tell me to stay. I ended up being able to run out of there. He proceeded to do 3 more lines of coke, took some more pills, put coke in his wallet and told me he was leaving and wanted to leave me in the room. I was in the living room at this point and just ran out. When I got home, I looked at the public clerk of court's docket, only to find out this guy has gotten 2 OVIs, possession of coke charge, domestic violence charge, some speeding tickets, and he had a charge for aggravated assault. I really think I dodged the bullet here.
Yeah, I feel like she dodged a tank shell, not really a bullet.
You dodged a lot.
And yeah, I mean, she should be grateful that she was even able to get out. I mean, I think it's weird. The guy's getting all coked up. Clearly he's got aggressive tendencies. That's really frightening. I mean, it's weird. Like, no, won't turn the lights on. My roommate sleeps on the couch. That's already nasty. Because, by the way, what was he thinking? Like, he was just going to take her and hit it while the roommate's asleep, like, right outside on the couch?
Literally.
I mean, I hate to say this, but
guys don't care.
That's a college fraternity thing to do.
I
can't tell you how many times I hated my roommate. I'm just saying, I don't give a fuck. I know. It's just in this situation, I would have been terrified. No, that's crazy. I know, that's so crazy. You know what it's like? It's like if you had a sister-in-law that somehow hooked up with some weird drug dealing, guy from like the Caribbean. Got you, buddy. Right away. Got you. Right? It's kind of like that in some weird way, but then somehow, even though you're smart and educated, you don't realize.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like, you could tell she was realizing as soon as she got into that hallway. I literally would have been like, you know what? I just don't feel well. And would have I'll see you another time or something. Because she had the gut feeling going into like the hallway. So it's like, it sucks. But I don't even know. I would have cried. I don't know what I would have done. I would have been like, I have to get out of here at this point. But, all right. Next one. So this was from their personal Reddit account. Title is, my new partner freaked out when she found out about my past. Any ideas to help her understand from those who have been through it? I had a long-term relationship where she knew my history. However, my new partner had no idea. After telling her about it, she asked for a copy of my complete criminal history, and she freaked out. Although I've never raised my voice or laid a hand against her, she says she's petrified of what I'm capable of doing. She told me she has always thought my eyes are soulless, which I think is complete bullshit. It's kind of mean, actually. But now she flinches when I even try to touch her. Is there any way that you think I can salvage this relationship? I really love this woman, and I have changed. I just feel like now I have been absolutely shattered, and I'm fighting the urge to go shoot some dope. What would you do in this situation?
I mean, they don't. What are the charges? Do we know?
I'm guessing it's like domestic violence.
Yeah, it's got to be something violent.
I think it's domestic violence.
He's talking about like I've never raised my voice or whatever.
I think it's domestic violence. He didn't say, but he just said that. Any advice on how you would handle it, or if you could think he could salvage his relationship now?
No, I mean at that point, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know how you get out of that other than to say, I mean, you could try to like victim blame in a sense. You'd be like, yo, that bitch asked for it, right? She was stepping out on me with my cousin Clarence or whatever. And
he also asked how you think he should tell them in the future then if this isn't the way.
I mean, okay.
How do you think a person should like give that information?
I don't think you can. There is no easy way to be like, look, my last relationship, I beat the shit out of her, right? I just went full Chris Brown on that bitch.
Like,
look, I mean, I'm going to try really hard to answer this sincerely, but there really is no good way. Maybe you could say something like, I walked in on her with, my coworker or my best friend, and I lost it for that moment. I'm so ashamed of myself, and I got treatment, and I started therapy, and that was a long time ago, and I'm not like that anymore, Or he could just take a more practical approach. He could be like, look, because by the way, this is like one of those things that some guys believe, not all, not me, just some. He could be like, yo, I don't condone violence against women, but I understand it.
Oh my God.
He'd be like, look, I know what turns Mr. Hand into Mr. Fist, right? When bitch steps out of line.
I don't think she's going for that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I don't think she's going for that.
There was a very, very funny, very politically incorrect comedian back in the mid 80s, I should say, named Sam Kinison. He died in a car accident, I think in like 92 or 93. This guy was a former preacher from the Midwest.
Oh God.
He was so fucking funny. And that was one of his bits too, like about domestic violence.
Yeah.
I don't condone it. I understand it, right? So, all right, all jokes aside, no, there really is never an excuse to raise hands to any female, even the ones that are like buff and tough these days. No, because some of them like okay, oh, and by the way, here's I don't want to go off topic, but that's a practical way. What happens if the bitch identifies as not a woman? Are you still hitting a girl then?
About that, I don't know the answer to that one. I have no idea because I've thought about that. And
I'm serious.
My thing is like, if it's two girls, what does it count as? Is that just a fight?
That's.
I've always thought that.
Like, I know. Well, or like, what if
they get like start beating each other?
I know.
Just a fight? I
don't know, right? It's not a girl fight anymore, right? It's not no cat fight. It's not
domestic violence anymore.
It's a they fight.
It's a they fight.
I don't know. Wow, that was. You know what? I'm sorry, fam. That was.
I'm sorry. I respect all of your pronouns. I did not mean it like that. I apologize.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about them. I just whatever. But no, I respect him to the extent like what I don't care. Like to each their own.
Yeah.
Like I know this is gonna sound not great, and some people are gonna get miffed at this, but I don't care because it doesn't affect me in any way. I don't really give a shit what people refer to themselves as. To me personally, I find it ridiculous. I mean, there is something biological. There is a biological, physiological difference between male and female. Now, you can rename any way you want. At the end of the day, men have man parts, women have lady parts.
I shouldn't talk about this.
No, what? It is just what it is. I want to be very clear. I absolutely respect anyone's choice to refer to themselves however they want. Nobody knows how that person feels except for that person. I do believe candidly that there are people like women trapped in men's bodies, men trapped in women's bodies. I do believe that. I believe I believe people are born a certain way. I don't believe it's like just a choice that can be turned on and off. But at the same time, I also believe that it's gone a little too far. This idea that I don't identify as a female or male, identify like, I guess for lack of a better word, as an it or as a they. That's just, it's just dumb. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just dumb. And by the way, it became a trend. So and this is the worst part. Honestly, the real people that are fighting this struggle for acceptance are undermined by a bunch of high school aged idiots that walk around like, no, my pronouns are they. The fuck do they? I mean, give me a fucking break. And honestly, that's what bothers me the most. If you really want an insight into how my kind of twisted mind works, that's what bothers me the most. There really are people struggling for acceptance, for love, for equality, to not get beat up walking home.
Yeah, I've seen people like talk about it, like, you know, people who are like gay or lesbian or whatever, and they've said like that they feel like now everyone wants to be like bi, everyone wants to be, you know, like non-gender, everyone wants to be a part of it just because they want to be included when it doesn't count. And I've seen a lot of people actually speak out from the LGBT community, and they're like, it kind of has taken this on a whole other like take, because it's like now people don't really take it seriously. Like people who this whole time have been fighting for gay rights, now it's like, well, that's what people can't take seriously.
That's very much to the point. So, I mean, but sorry to jump back. Like, how do you deal with that in the future? Like, what do you do? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, just like I said, I'm
glad you're honest, but I just
say you were drugged out. Yeah, just say like you had a problem with addiction, but you sought treatment. You're better now. It was a drunken rage.
Honestly, find someone who also got accused for domestic violence. They might understand you.
Oh, that's a recipe for disaster. You know, or if you have any kind of money, hire one of those like reputation defenders.
Yeah, maybe.
Like try to scrub your online record.
Been in that same like.
Yeah, try to get that conviction expunged or sealed or something.
Because it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure almost every girl, like the minute you say like, oh yeah, you know, I had domestic violence charges and I beat the shit out of her, everyone's going to be like, oh, you're not really my ideal candidate now. But all right, next one. So this is also from another personal Reddit account.
Okay.
The title is it bad that I asked the guy I'm dating if he had a criminal record? I've been dating a new guy for a while and I'm starting to really like him. After the third date, which went well, I asked him if he had any criminal record. Not because I was suspicious or anything like that, but I just like to be safe. And I've had a lot of trauma related to someone from my past. And I just wanted to make sure. There you go. Anyway, the guy was shocked and asked Anyway, the guy was shocked that I asked and told me even if I did, people can change for the better and shouldn't be judged for their past. Ever since I asked that, he's been acting more distant/cold. Was it rude of me to ask? I thought it was just a good question to start with. I feel like it's not a bad question. Like I feel like this leaves space like for the guy who said like, when is it the right time to like speak on this? I feel like she made like the choice to just ask like upfront, like, hey, I just want to know, like, do you have any criminal past? Like, I've dealt with people who had it. I just want to know if you do. And I feel like it wasn't a thing for the guy to be upset about.
If that's really how it went down.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't accusatory. It wasn't like, yo, I know you did time. I see that jailhouse tat on your arm, whatever. Then we live in a day and age where, you kind of do have to ask that stuff. A lot of things are done online. A lot of things happen faster today than they used to. Back in the day, unless it was just a total whore, right? People weren't hitting it after 30 minutes of swiping or let me send you an Uber. Right. It took a little bit more time and effort.
Right.
So, today, you kind of have to know, right, what you're dealing with a little bit.
Exactly.
Because and that's the other thing too. Background checks can only tell you so much, right? Because you're right. Earlier, you alluded to the idea that there may be things that have been done that you were just never caught for or convicted for or arrested for, right? You don't know.
Exactly.
But considering how much information could also be, I'll use the word falsified, but maybe it's like, or just, just kind of exaggerated, right? Right. Cause if let me just be honest. I don't have a Tinder profile or anything like that. If I were to ever do one, I wouldn't be honest about everything.
Well, duh.
I'd be like, I'm 6'1". I'm not even close, but whatever. If you make the time and you meet me, then I got to turn on the charm and hope the winning personality comes through.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, in other words, it's meant to be funny, but honestly, you don't know how much is accurate and how much isn't.
Exactly.
So
her asking, I felt like it was just like living, like she was like, she didn't really like, she answered questions. She was like, I never like Googled him. I wanted to ask him.
Yeah. But by the way, that's also her being cheap and lazy. At the very least, sister, do a tiny bit of due diligence before you actually get in the car and show up. I guess
I have a friend. She runs background checks before she goes on dates.
Really?
She pays for it.
Oh yeah, I'm air quoting. You have a friend that does it. Are you really asking for a friend?
No. She does it on her own dates. I mean, like she does it on her own dates.
Man, that's you. You do that every fucking client we meet. You're going on.
Get the background check done.
She pays like a service.
Yeah, she pays the service to do.
It's actually smart. I think they're like $20 or $30.
She found one of them actually was like a level. No, is sex offenders in levels? Level 1 is it or what is it? Yeah, right. It's level
1 sex offender?
He was like a level 2, I think, sex offender, and she was supposed to go on a date with. And then she was like, it was level 2 or 3. I can't remember which one.
I don't know in California how they classify. I know that there are websites, like Megan's Law, where you can kind of see registered sex offenders, and if they're on the registry,
But I remember she had caught that, and she had canceled the date so fast. She was like, "Nope, we'll not." She was like, "We'll not be going." So it is smart, girls. I mean,
and you know what, sister? Right before you get in that car, just fucking open up Google. You can do it on your phone. Yeah. I mean, just, come on now.
Exactly. All right. Next one is called Boyfriend Went to Jail Yesterday, and I knew about his trial and everything on the same day. This is...
Knew about his...
Like, I guess she found out the same day.
His trial?
Yeah, his trial and him going to jail and all of that.
Okay. Same day as their date?
No. This was like the same day he went to jail.
Oh, okay.
This was on the subreddit Ask Woman Over 30. I didn't even know that was a subreddit.
Okay.
I've been with this man for over 10 months, and we were discussing moving in together this summer. He was sentenced for 2.5 years for video voyeurism, which happened more than 4 years ago. The trial has been going on since then. He called me in the morning and told me that he's at the court and he may face jail time. And this was the first time he even mentioned about it. He started serving in the afternoon. Imagine you're not even knowing this. He's going to court, calls you, and he's like, hey, I really just might go to jail tonight. That same day, starts serving sentence. Okay, that's... I don't know any details about what he has done, but he confirmed that he had kept that video for himself, didn't publish it or use it for any other purpose. Since he did it more than once, it's a felony in that state. He didn't do it to me, but his ex. In the time we spent together, he was a kind person, and we were really happy most of the time. Now I don't know what to do. My mind told me that I need to break up with him, but I can't stop thinking of him. I think I'm still in love with him. I was divorced back in the day.
Oh my God.
And it took me some time to recover. Since then, I dated a lot of people, but none of them have lasted this long until I met him. I feel life is very sarcastic right now. This is not the type of thing that you can share with any friend. I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, and I don't really have friends in this state. I want to know, as a convicted felon served for jail, what life could possibly be for him after he gets out. He had a decent job and a master's degree. I just don't know if I should stay, if I should leave, or if I should stick it out with him. What would your advice be here?
Well, Does she really like this guy?
She says she thinks she loves him.
If she thinks she love him, then you know what I would, you're asking what would Eric do?
Yeah.
Well, what Eric would request would be like, yo, I'm about to go inside for 2 years. I need you to marry me today so I can have conjugal visits.
Oh my God. He's already in jail.
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, that's right. Or maybe figure out a way to like meet me at the courthouse with a fucking judge or a priest. Okay, let's do this. Right?
Yeah, that sucks though. I mean, she was asking what like his jobs would be after. She was like, he has a master's, but I don't think it matters anymore.
He's not getting any fucking jobs.
It's a felony now. He's a felon.
It's possible that he can get hired. It really depends on the company.
Right.
Some companies have policies about if you're a convicted felon. Mm-hmm. Some jobs require you to have a security clearance, which you can't get. Mm-hmm. Some companies are just smaller and they won't bother to check that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could get in trouble if you lie on an application.
Right.
Right. You also have to essentially, even if you say, yes, I've been convicted in the past of a felony, no employer is going to be like, oh, I appreciate your honesty. No, they're going to want to know what it was for.
Exactly.
They want to know if their employees are in danger from you, opens up a big can of worms. But putting the job thing aside, because that's really the least of his problems right now. If he's about to go inside and start doing time, first of all, just so we know, or he knows, okay, sex offenders don't do well in jail.
Right.
Even like these video voyeur guys.
Right. They don't do well.
Sounds like what he did was recorded without her consent.
Yeah, of her, his ex-girlfriend.
Right. And if he is in a state where privacy laws have changed, I know that there was a website, national website, that ultimately got taken down federally by the Department of Justice. Because it was basically that, like revenge on your ex-girlfriend. Like, she broke up with me.
I did hear about that.
Yeah. I had a bunch of these private photos and videos and I'll put them up on the internet. Fuck you. So if he did something like that, that's pretty fucked up. Now I know he's saying I never posted it. I kept it just for me. I understand. I mean, look, if his ex was a super sunshine and he wants to relive those moments, but guys,
how did she find out? Though?
Right. But that's I don't know. But maybe she caught the video. Maybe he sent it to her. I don't know.
Maybe
he sent it just to his friend.
Did he put it out? Yeah. Something. Something had to come out of that. Yeah.
But the bottom line is, guys, no is no for a lot of things, including this, right? Yeah. You really should consent. The idea that you have a hidden camera somewhere and you're recording without someone's knowledge or consent, it's pretty fucked up to do. But that's kind of like what it sounds like to me is what happened.
If she can stay with him.
I mean, if she doesn't give a shit, and she's been through it, that's what I'm saying. Then fucking meet you at the courthouse with a fucking justice of the peace or a priest and a Bible. Yeah. Let's get it done so I can keep you company for those couple of years you're inside.
Because it sounds like she doesn't care his charges.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was my first instinct. Was like, oh, honey, what the fuck are you? Are you kidding me? But then when I understand what the charge was, it's not that it makes it any better. I mean, I understand it's still a violation. It's still someone's privacy. Their most intimate moments, and you're basically recording them without their consent, using it for your own whatever private fantasies or whatever. There might be a different issue with this guy too. He may have some kind of sexual dysfunction. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
if you accept him and you love him like
right, that, it's either or. To me, it's either don't wait for your fucking inmate to come out. Either marry the guy now and be in it, or say, look, it was nice knowing you. I appreciate it. I got to move on.
All right. Next one. This one's titled, I just found out I'm dating a criminal. This is from Dating Advice. I've been seeing this guy for a couple of weeks. He's gorgeous, so sweet, and listens to my problems and all of my trauma. We click so well, and the chemistry is ridiculous. I hadn't felt like this about anyone in a really long time. I am myself around him, but in all honesty, I don't know that much about him, other than he's Russian and has 2 little brothers and works at a gym. That's all she knows. So I was stalking his Instagram, and his Instagram tagged pictures, and I saw that he was in one with his friend and one a friend of mine. So naturally, I asked her what she knew about him. Her response gave me chills. Apparently, he's been to prison 3 times for getting into fights at a nightclub. Not only that, but apparently he has stole from all of his ex-girlfriends, broke into their houses, bleached all of their clothes. I am terrified. I'm currently on holiday for the next week and he's not with me. He calls me every day and texts me constantly. I don't know what to do. How do I get out of the situation? He's obviously dangerous. And if this is all true, but I can't imagine anyone making that up, he knows where I live. He knows where I work. How do I get out of this safely? Do I ask him about it or do I just end it there for another reason and run the risk of him retaliating?
I'm not sure I understand the real problem here.
So she had asked a friend about this dude because she doesn't really know anything about him.
Right.
She's like, I really like him. Apparently, he's been to jail 3 times. He's broke into all his ex-girlfriend's houses, stole from them, and bleached all of their clothes.
I understood the words.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to figure out is why is she essentially accepting everything that's being told to her by her friend without knowing firsthand?
That's true.
Where did the friend find out about 3 ex-girlfriends and 3 break-ins?
I have no idea.
I mean, but I'm saying, because again, as we're sort of
like, where did you get this from? How does she know?
Yeah,
how does
right.
she
That's
get
what
that
I mean. Like, how do you know all that? Right. Because again, the more I'm hearing it, it's kind of like, I don't know. That's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would do a little bit of digging on my own and just to see how much of that information is true or not. If it ends up being true, you probably should leave him in a peaceful way because he could retaliate to you if it was real. But if it's not, I mean, people have, Look,
the catch-22 here is this. If it really did happen 3 times, each ex-girlfriend, no, then how do you approach that and expect him to be like calm about it? Like,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You're putting him on the spot. Right. And it's going to, I think it's going to pour a little gasoline on a potential fire. On the other hand, you don't know for sure because you're not one of those exes.
Exactly.
It doesn't sound like you know who those exes are. And somehow your friend knows some of the random exes. I mean, I would.
And your friend didn't tell you before.
Right. So here's what I'm going to say to this. Okay. If this is what would Eric do or whatever. Eric would press his friend a little bit more about how you got to this info. And then I would also maybe run my own background on this guy to see if convictions came up or I usually don't know about arrests, because an arrest is different. An arrest doesn't really mean anything. I mean, people get arrested all the time for like protesting nuclear war. It doesn't mean shit. Right. It's not dispositive, I should say, of any criminal wrongdoing. But I would, and maybe I would do that like before I would even broach the subject. I'd want to know a bit more because it just sounds a little odd.
Like your description of him.
Yeah.
And then this description of him just don't add up.
Well, it's not just that, but then again, where does she get that info from?
And why didn't she tell you? My whole thing is if I knew, if I knew one of my friends was dating someone who did all of these things, I would tell her from the jump. I wouldn't let her get comfortable with this man if I knew this was true. So I feel like her telling her later on just proves that it might not even be true, that she's just making that up, or she heard of that and she knew that it's not actual facts. That's just, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this as a girl. Okay. Is that something a girl would do to try to, I don't know, dissuade her friend from seeing someone if they just didn't want to like not have the time with them anymore? It just sounds weird, almost like it's sabotage.
No, I have a lot of friends who I don't like their boyfriends. And I've told them like, I just don't like them, but I've never really heard of a friend, unless the friend wants the boyfriend. It's not really usual that the friend will sabotage just because they don't like it. I think a lot of friends will suck it up and just, you can make it known you don't like him, but the only time they'll sabotage is if they want the man. Usually girls won't sabotage relationships just because they don't like their friend dating them. So I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know. Then it's weird. Like, I don't know. Again, it doesn't seem strange to me.
All right. We have 3 left.
Okay.
This one's a bit long, but I need you to listen for this one because it's good. So this one's titled, I Dated a Murderer. And this is from Creepy Encounters. So I meet this guy who is just a couple of years older than me, and he has turned his life around. When he was younger, he used to be in gangs and drugs and all of that. But now he's working it out and staying really fit, and he's doing a lot of family stuff. Really a changed man. I guess you can say I felt protected by him. He's a hard worker, self-sufficient, and has a son, and he loves going to the gym every day. I myself had a crazy past, but I overcame it, so he seemed like a good fit. We would go to dinner, movies, normal dating stuff, but he eventually wanted to spend more time together, and I was having trouble giving up all my free time for him. And he would get angry about this, like really angry. After being with the controlling asshole for so long, this was obviously a red flag after 3 months for me. I told him I didn't want to see him anymore. He said he needed to confess something to me. He admitted that he has been using steroids, and that was the reason for his mood swings.
Oh.
He cried and said that he was sure that that was the reason and that he was willing to stop if it meant that we could have another chance. I obliged, but only under the condition that we remain friends. Things were okay for a while. We saw each other maybe every other week, and he started wanting to see me every week, to which I told him that I was not interested in being anything other than friends at the moment, since I was still not ready for a relationship. He tried to talk me into giving him another chance, but I didn't just find myself interested in him in a romantic way, so I insisted that we just be friends. Fast forward 6 months later, I haven't spoken to him at all within that time. I was happy living my life with my sons, whatever. So this night, my youngest son was at his dad's, and I went out to a local bar with my friends. My oldest son was 13 and was home alone, so I left a little early to make sure I was home before 10. I lay down in bed and go to sleep. I'm dead asleep when suddenly I feel someone slowly sit on my bed. I'm laying in bed, wondering why my son would come sit on my bed so slowly. He wouldn't. I turn around, and it's not him. It's Mario. Not his real name, but the man.
Oh, my God.
Laying down in bed next to me.
Oh.
I sit up, and I ask him how the fuck he got in. He's not answering me. He says, I need to talk to you right now. I said, okay, when you need to talk to someone, you don't sneak into someone's room. You call them. You leave a note for them. Literally anything but what you just did. I'm thinking, I'm going to kill my kid for letting him in. He said, I didn't even have your number anymore. I needed to talk to you before it's too late. I didn't entertain the before it's too late because I was livid, but something told me to just keep my cool. I sit up and say, look, I really want to talk to you too, but not like this. Please just leave and I promise we will talk tomorrow. Call me tomorrow. He gets up, walks over to the side of my bed and starts rubbing my shoulders and is slowly making his way up to my neck. He says, do you really want to talk? I look him in the eyes and say, yes, I've been wanting to talk to you, but not like this. Please call me tomorrow. He stares at me while still rubbing my neck and goes down to my shoulders and says, okay. This motherfucker proceeds to exit through my patio door and jumps my patio wall, which tells me that's exactly how he got in. I freaked the fuck out. I check on my kid, had no idea what was going on. I locked all my doors and I really couldn't sleep. The next day, I text them and I tell them that if I ever see him near me or my complex, I will call the police and to never contact me again. If you're wondering why I didn't call the police.
Yeah, that was with the first, like, honey, why are you going to fucking Reddit with this?
I knew he had a gun, so A, I was scared of being retaliated against for being a snitch, and B, I figured I called the cops, they would probably not do much or just let him out, and I was afraid of what he would do after. Either way, he left me alone and didn't hear from him for years. Are you ready for the update?
Okay, so this years went by?
Yeah.
Okay.
4 years later, I'm going through Facebook and I see his face in People You May Know. I click on the picture and notice that it looks like a jail picture. You know, those pictures where the guy is clearly in a jail cell? I scrolled on the page and his most recent post is him posting an address for his family members to write to. A prison address. So I Google his name and sure enough, articles after articles, all with the same headline. Man arrested on suspicion of killing girlfriend. About 2 years after him and I dated, he shot and killed the girl he was dating. That could have been me and I feel like shit thinking if there was anything I could have done to stop him. Even scarier thought is that he only got 12 years for her murder. So that's just her terrifying story of like a actual killer boyfriend. Like, imagine.
I guess in a way she had some kind of guardian angel.
She did because he could have killed her that night.
Right. Yeah. Or he would have come back if he'd been arrested the next day. I mean, there's all sorts of illegality with what he did, breaking and entering, stalking. She could probably get a restraining order. But yeah, I mean, there's not much here as far as like what would Eric do, or the only advice I would give anybody that finds themselves in this kind of situation, and this is obviously a somber topic. Oftentimes abusive people, I know the vast majority are men, but abusive people count on your fear as a means to control. And the minute they understand or realize that you're not afraid of them anymore, they oftentimes back off. Now, I guess something happened. Now, this guy may have continued with steroids. He may have had roid rage.
Right.
And it might give her some solace to know that he will not be also well treated in prison. Violence against children or women are the worst you can do in jail, as far as the jail population goes. So, maybe he'll get some justice administered to him on top of the 12 years he's doing. So, by the way, again, I know people get outraged, like he killed her, and maybe it was a crime of passion or in the heat of the moment. So he pled down to manslaughter. And he's only doing 12 years. Let me tell you, I would, and I mean this, I would rather do 50 years, but have my paperwork say I robbed a bank than do 12 years as rape, murder, or hurting a child or a woman. Fuck, that's the longest 12 years of anybody's life. So there's a little bit of comfort in knowing that he's not just going to skate through these 12 years.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So she says police wouldn't do anything, but isn't that still breaking and entering?
Yeah, 100%.
And he gets time for that, right?
He would have been arrested. And if you had a weapon on him at that time, he would have been hit with possession of a firearm. He could also be hit with stalking. right? You could try for attempted rape since he went
So if
into
he
her
was
bed.
under the influence, to say he was.
No, I don't care what he's under.
Would it count anything at all? Like to be like distorted?
No, because that's a bullshit alibi.
Right.
Because if you're that impaired, how are you fucking balcony jumping?
That too,
right?
Exactly.
Knowing which unit is hers, knowing how to creep quietly past the fucking kids' room that are asleep or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there is no level of impairment that makes you a fucking ninja.
I was just making sure because I was like, I know she said like she thought nothing would happen.
No,
to him.
it could. I mean, there's a famous story about Robert Downey Jr. You know, I don't know if you know. I mean, everybody knows him now as Iron Man or whatever.
Right.
But back in the day when he was a young actor, he had quite the drug and alcohol problem, very severe. And there was a wide publicized story where he stumbled home from some drunken bender and just basically walked into someone else's house and passed out on their floor.
I didn't know that.
And they just fucking woke up and like Robert Downey Jr. is in their living room asleep. So, and he got arrested for that. Yeah, and he got in trouble for that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should have called the cops, but I don't know in the moment how she would have done that either. It's in the dark too. You got to think about that. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, because I'm trying to feel like
no, I would have called right after she finally got him to leave.
Yeah.
Promising like, look, we'll talk tomorrow. You know, and then I would be like, the next fucking call would have been 911.
Exactly.
Take the fucking fingerprints, find out where he came in. And by the way, that's the other thing too, is if they would have checked and gotten his prints, if he had prior arrests or prior convictions in the span of time, that would come out and they would see, and that might help as far as her danger. And then I would get a restraining order.
Exactly. Me too.
Fuck yeah. There's no judge on a bench anywhere, even in the most fucked up backward states, that would deny a restraining order for that.
Especially for a mom who has kids in the house.
Fucking single mom with 2 kids. Okay. Look past the point that she was out whoring it up at a bar, with her kid with one of her baby daddies or whatever. Just saying. But, she still didn't ask for that.
Exactly. All right. Next one. This next one might make you laugh a little bit.
I hope something does. These
last two are good. All right. I promise. All right. Title is, Today I Fucked Up by Joking with the Date that I was a serial killer. This was from the Reddit. Today I Fucked Up. But cue my first date with the girl I met on Tinder. We meet up at a restaurant and get to talking. Things are going great. She thinks I'm funnier in person. When does that even ever happen, right? She actually invites me to the mall to hang out more with some of her friends after dinner's over. All of that. So after the food arrives and the conversation turns a little more towards how we met, pay close attention and you will spot my mistake. Okay. She states she's glad that I'm normal and that I'm not some sort of serial killer. Now, I could have just laughed when she said this. I could have, but I was funny, remember? I replied with, "Oh, thanks for thinking I'm normal, but I actually am a serial killer. Bodies for days buried out at the farm, you know?" She laughed. I laughed. I thought I did great at making it sound sarcastic. She excuses herself to the bathroom to do whatever girls do in the bathroom. And it takes some time.
By the way, that is a real question.
You go to the bathroom?
No. Okay. You go to the bathroom for like 90 seconds, 2 minutes. Some broads go in there for like 25 minutes.
Well, some apply makeup.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the whole point is men never really know what goes on. But all right, but go ahead.
All right. It was taking a questionably long time for her to return, and I was slightly worried that she bailed and stuck me with the bill. My luck, right? Wrong. No. So unbelievably wrong. My luck was worse as the police suddenly appear out of nowhere and tell me to keep both hands visible on the table.
Oh, no.
At this point, I'm so confused. Like, this must be a joke. I see my date coming with the staff member, and I'm ready for Ashton Kutcher to appear or something. No such luck. The police ask me if it's me. She says, yeah. The cops get me to stand and handcuff me and walk me out. Not a single person seems to want to answer any of my questions. I'm in the car, and the police are outside talking to my date for a few minutes when they get into the car with me and ask if I told my date that I was a serial killer. Are you fucking kidding me? I tell them, yeah, but I was joking. So that derailed my plans. I spent the next 5 to 6 hours explaining myself over and over and over that I was kidding. I guess eventually they either believed me or got tired of hearing me speak so much to my lawyer's disapproval of me speaking and let me go and reminded me that my jokes suck and never to make that joke again. I'm not sure how date number 2 will go, but I'm excited to find out. Also, bright side is that I have no idea who paid for my food, but it wasn't me.
Okay, well, I'm glad that he found,
humor in it.
Yeah, positive outlook.
What would you do?
I mean, what would I do? Nothing. What can you do except like lose that fucking number, right? Clearly, she's the fucking crazy one here.
He literally made a joke. Yeah, bodies on bodies at the farm. I would have laughed.
I know. Clearly, that was meant to be a joke,
and especially because she was like, "Oh, you're so much funnier in person." He took that and ran with it. He was like, "Oh, you think I'm funny? Watch this."
By the way, pro tip, ladies. If a guy is openly saying he's a serial killer, chances are he's not.
He's not, right? Exactly.
Real serial killers don't want to get caught. They want to keep on killing.
Why the fuck would they tell you that?
My God. I mean, I'm sorry, I hate to say it. Look, obviously we're not there, right? If he's sitting across from his blind date or Tinder date or whatever the fuck.
Tinder, yeah.
Whatever. And he's like, yo, all right, I'm a serial killer. I got a spot upstate where I bury. If he said it like that, okay, maybe. But if he's like, oh, what do I do? Oh, yeah, I'm a serial killer.
She started it. She literally said, I'm so glad you're normal, like not like a serial killer. And he was like, oh, thank you for thinking I'm normal. I'm actually a serial killer.
Right.
Like he was feeding into your joke.
I know. That's what I mean, like stupid. And you know what that tells me? Honestly, that tells me that she's not fit for dating.
She's not. Like, no, hey, she's unwell.
Sister, stay off the apps. Okay?
Unwell.
Seriously. If you couldn't tell that was a response to like a dumb joke that you made, right? And the guy's just trying to like fit in with you and play along.
You told him you don't. Yeah, what did you expect?
Right. You know what you need, sister? You need to date. You need a dog, and that's it. You get like one of those fucking dogs that are really, really happy to see you whenever you get home. Fill whatever fucking void it is that's missing out of your life. Because stay away from men. No, look, in all seriousness, if he had actually been arrested and arraigned on fucking murder, okay, that's $1 million bail that he probably couldn't make. He'd be in jail until he could figure it out, get a lawyer.
His house investigated.
Oh my God, right. You turn somebody's world upside down from what was an obvious response to a stupid joke you made.
And my thing is, why would he tell you this at a restaurant?
That's just crazy. Unreal.
All right. So last one.
All right.
It's a lighter one, but I don't know how you'll take it. So.
Okay.
Title is, I just went on a date with a guy who tried to rob me. This is from Off My Chest. 2 years ago, this is long, by the way, but it's a good story.
All right.
2 years ago, I returned home from my father's funeral. As soon as I opened the door to my apartment, a guy holding a crowbar came out from my kitchen holding my TV.
Oh.
I live in the city, so robberies are common. The guy began shouting at me, and he clumsily dropped my TV and began holding the crowbar like it was a baseball bat.
Okay.
I was so stunned at what was happening that I didn't even move. The guy kept screaming at me to empty my pockets. From the stress of the last few days with my father passing away, I simply started crying. Not even out of fear of what was happening, but because this was literally the worst time of my life for me to get robbed.
Oh, God.
Like the worst moment. The worst minute and second.
This poor woman.
I know. While crying hysterically, I gave him my wallet. I just sat on the floor, hugged my knees, and told him through tears, just take whatever you want. My dad's already dead. He hesitated.
Oh, sorry. Just really quick. Pro tip.
Yeah.
If you're in the middle of being robbed by somebody potentially violent with a crowbar, don't get on your knees, girls.
No, don't.
Okay. That sends the wrong message. By the way, that's the wrong message.
It is.
Okay. Let me listen. I can't, obviously it's not about me.
Right.
But there's literally only one thing a man thinks of when a girl standing in front of him drops to her knees.
Exactly.
Just saying. Okay.
No, she dropped and she was hugging her knees, she said.
Whatever. Yeah. Okay. The guy literally only saw her get down to her knees. But go ahead.
She said, take whatever you want. My father's already dead. He hesitated and looked down at me. He dropped my wallet and sat down beside me. Immediately, he began comforting me. He began to apologize. He put my TV back on the table and told me that it wasn't even damaged, so it would be okay. He told me that he had just lost his job and that his mom needed medicine and that he couldn't afford and they were homeless. He told me all of this while I just wailed. I cried for my father who I lost. I cried for my future, for it was uncertain, and I cried because my home had just been intruded in the most violent way. For a good 10 minutes, I sat on the floor with a guy who had every intention of robbing me, telling me that it would be okay and that he was sorry for what he did. He begged me not to call the police. I just started telling him to get out of my house. He ran away so fast, he left the crowbar there. I threw it at him as he ran down the street. 2 days later, I came home from work and he was sitting in front of my door. I was terrified and I pulled my phone out, but he had this look on his face of, I'm not sure how to describe it, remorse, regret, I don't know. He told me that he told his mom what he did.
How about lust?
His mom made her soup because she felt so bad. The guy's mom made her soup.
Really? From the homeless encampment that they live in? Like, did she bring it from like the fucking YMCA?
I guess.
Or wherever, like they're like the fucking soup kitchen line. She's like, yo, I know we're hungry and we're all homeless. Can you give me one of those to go?
My son just robbed some lady and her dad just died.
Oh, but okay. All right.
He handed me his tiny bowl wrapped in tinfoil. Again, I was so stunned and overwhelmed and angry that I slapped the bowl out of his hand and it shattered on the floor. I told him to leave or I was calling the police. He left. I remember he looked upset. I left the soup and shattered bowl outside of my door, almost as a warning for him not to come back. About 3 months after that, I got a note in my mail slot from the guy. He told me his mother had passed away and that he was no longer homeless, and he had a job now. He wants to repay me for breaking into my apartment. He wrote down his address and told me that I was welcome to break into his place if I wanted, but he didn't have much stuff.
That's code.
Yeah.
Okay.
This all overwhelmed me all over again. I threw away the letter, but I remembered the address. I remember walking by there one day out of curiosity. It was a rafty apartment building across the city. He was walking up to his room and he saw me. He waved. I turned away and I left. He ran after me, apologized again, and told me that he never meant to do what he did. He showed me the program from his mother's funeral and he kept it in his wallet. He wasn't lying. She was real. He was real. He was a real person. I don't know what it was, but I believed him. We slowly began to grow together as people.
Oh my God.
I can't describe it. After a year of maintaining communication and learning about who he was, he even enrolled in community college classes, which I helped him with. I never invited him to my apartment. However, no matter how much I know about him, I was still very afraid of him. And he knew that. He knew that I couldn't trust him. But one night, we went out for coffee because he said he had an exam for his civ class. When I got there, he said he had forgot his book. We talked for a bit, we laughed, and then he told me he wanted to cook for me. On a whim, I decided to invite him over to my apartment. After picking up some things from the grocery store, he came over. I was nervous. I was so nervous, I was shaking. He noticed, he squeezed my hand, and he made dinner. It was amazing, and we had a great thing. But I want to know, do you think I'm stupid for dating the guy who tried to rob me at some point?
Yes. I don't know any other way to respond.
Imagine someone tried to rob you and you guys now are dating.
Yeah, I mean, let's not.
I told you it was like a good outcome, but I don't know how.
I don't understand. I truly don't look, I have been accused in the past of what I think is maybe a nice quality, but some people find it a flaw. In that I tend to like overtrust, and I see like a lot. Oftentimes I try to see the best in people, even when they're clearly being like untruthful to me or underhanded in the way they do things. So I understand a tiny bit about the idea of turning over a new leaf. I'm nowhere near the person I am today that I was when I was my late teens, early 20s. We all evolve, we change. This evolution happened a little fast, but I appreciate the fact that she is willing to kind of forgive, but yeah.
Not for me.
No, this is just a little too weird, right? I mean,
he tried to rob you.
I know. Now, I could see where he was obviously uncomfortable with the burglary, and
you could tell, like, he was like, oh my God, like, I mean, I feel like you don't expect that. No, like, imagine you're robbing someone and they just break down.
No, but hardcore robbers,
they don't care.
Right. They'll push you aside, even if they don't mean you any violence or they don't, they'll at least play it up just to,
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
This guy literally broke down with her. They're both going through whatever shit they're going through.
Literally.
Maybe they really are soulmates. There's an old saying, like, the universe is never wrong. If the universe puts two people together sometimes, like the most unlikely of people.
Maybe. Yeah, she had said, like, maybe things have a way of working themselves out.
Or maybe she's just a typical, fucking starry-eyed, broad woman who believes in these stupid fairy tales.
This literally sounds
her
like
fucking homeless Prince Charming is, let me give you a kiss and you'll no longer be a frog. You're going to turn into like my fucking prince. Okay, grow the fuck up, sister. This guy literally wanted to take a fucking beat up TV to score $12 to buy a fucking rock. Okay. And okay. Now the soup thing, that was already where he's just trying to hit it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, come on now.
Yeah. I don't,
but let's pretend, but let's pretend that I live in the same fantasy world she does. Right. And this guy turned a new leaf. Right. But I mean, I guess he's enrolled in classes now and she's helping him.
He has a job.
You know what? There are people, I hate to say it, but there are people that really just need a project.
Exactly.
They're like, there are terms like, oh, that's a project boyfriend. That's a project guy. You want to fix him.
Some people don't like it. They'll end up liking stuff like that, like robberies. I had a friend who went into drug dealing and then he was like, I didn't like it anymore. And he quit after like a month.
Oh,
so okay. I'm like, they might not just like what they're doing.
But that's, by the way, that's not usually the chosen profession when,
That's true. But like, they might just not like that.
I understand that desperate times often call for desperate measures and people find themselves capable of doing things that they never thought they could. I found that in a lot of different parts of life, as human beings, we have the capability to do terrible things.
Yeah.
And also really good, kind, selfless things. Mm-hmm. Really depends on the circumstance, the person, how far they're being driven into something. But yeah, look, that was a long one. It was kind of, I like that we ended on like a happy note.
See, I did good today.
Yeah, I know. Yay, Karina. Yay, go you. Hurricane Karina. Yay. No, look, here's the thing. All seriousness. Honestly, if they're happy together at this point and they've both sort of moved on and they're willing to look past some of these indiscretions. And here's a question for you as a woman. Would you sooner be able to forgive a guy that broke into your house? Well, let me finish. That sooner to forgive a guy that broke into your house to try to steal something, it got thwarted and felt bad and then tried to like make amends? Or could you have an easier time forgiving like, you know, the guy that's like doing your stepsister or something, like, you know, your boyfriend cheating or something like that? Because, you know, some people I think find it easier to forgive infidelity because at least they know the person. They can try to justify it. Like, if I had just been there for him, he wouldn't, you know. But I personally, I know maybe it sounds weird. Like, I would sooner forgive a woman that broke into my place.
Yeah.
If she were like under these desperate moments, than if I'm in a relationship and the bitch steps out on me. Like, that would be like, you know.
See, I don't know, because my mom's house had been broken into a couple of times, right? I live in Crenshaw, right? My mom's house has been broken into a couple of times. The last time the house was broken into, I watched people run out of the house, and I don't think I could ever forgive those people still. But over cheating, that's hard. I don't know. Because I don't think I could forgive cheating. I feel like, you know, that's harder to forgive. I guess maybe if he was like, you know, my mom's dying and like showed like, hey, like, yeah, like, look, she even died afterwards. Like, you know, because of that, maybe I could forgive that faster. I think you're right. I'd probably forgive a house invasion before.
So that's what I mean. Like, everything is sort of relative. Now, again, if it were some kind of very violent, just, you know, break-in where he was knocking shit over and tied her up and looked for jewel, you know, that'd be different, right? But this was, I mean, it feels like this guy is not a professional, right? At this,
not at all.
No, that's what I mean. Like,
he dropped the TV.
That's what I'm saying. It may really have been
a one-time thing.
And driven by desperation. The fact that she can look past that and learn to forgive and maybe even learn to love with this guy, you know what? That's actually a beautiful thing in a way.
Yeah. All right.
Let's do a little bit of housekeeping and then tell them all where they can find us. So the Friday's episode is going to be one centering around defamation. And there's a big reason for that. We touched on it a little bit. But when we were doing our rap beef episode, the one that kind of didn't come out that great, but a lot of the posts that we read through were really questions about, can I get in trouble, right, if I say this about someone, or if I do this, or if I record these lyrics or whatever. And this all gets back to this legal concept of defamation. Now, it just so happens our 2,300 plus followers. Really?
Yeah. I checked it in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's crazy. 2,600. That's amazing. So for your 2,600 plus, your boy actually has experience defending a defamation case 2 times. I will tell the audience the stories about both, but we also will have a very special guest. Mm-hmm. He is a personal friend of mine. His name is Todd Wittelis. He goes by Dan Druff. Mm-hmm. He is a professional poker player, World Series of Poker bracelet winner. He has his own show, Poker Fraud Alert Radio. They have a podcast. Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. He was sued for defamation by a well-known, this is a very big story that blew up on the poker media by this guy, Mike Postle, who went out and sued a bunch of people for $300 million claiming defamation. I successfully defended Todd and got a $26,000 judgment against Mike Postle for attorney's fees that Todd had to spend defending. Yep. So Todd has been nice enough to agree to come on for us and tell us that story from his words, his own viewpoint. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you the other story about a former attorney named Gene Cho that got disbarred. Oh, and he sued one of my clients for defamation. And
I don't think I've heard that one. So
no, I'll tell you that story too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got hit bad on attorney's fees for that one too. Okay. So that's what's coming up. Again, we are so grateful. The amount of likes, subscribers. It's growing every week. I can tell you that Todd put us on his website and put a link in like his message board. I'll send you the link so you can see it. So I'm very, very grateful for that. I appreciate that too. So with having said all that, Hurricane, tell them where they can find us.
All right, guys. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate all the support and appreciate every single one of you, all 2,600 of you. Remember, you can find us at The Bentama Confirm and at The L.A.T.E Podcast on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok at The Bentama Confirm. Visit our website at eblawfirm.us and you can email us at info@eblawfirm.us. Bye, guys.
Bye.